and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be showing you how to make your own homemade pumpkin puree. I love making it and I think it tastes a lot better than the canned stuff. It's very simple to make, so I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, you'll need a pie pumpkin, and this one I got at Sprouts. It was, I think, $1.99, and it'll make quite a bit of pumpkin puree for us. So next you're going to need a sharp knife and lots of muscle, and you're going to want to cut it in half. After you cut your pumpkin in half, you're going to want to put it on a lined cookie sheet. I'm lining this with foil and it's a whole lot easier to clean up, so trust me on that one. So you're just going to put it face down, or cut side down, whatever you want to call it, and we are going to bake this in a 350-degree oven for about an hour, and then we'll go ahead and check it and see if it's soft. Hi Maya. Are you my little chef in training? Did you discover how to open the door? Now you're pulling everything out, aren't you, huh? Hi! Is that right? This has been cooking for an hour, and as you can see, it is very soft, so it is done. I think I probably should have checked it after about 45 minutes instead of waiting the full hour. I went ahead and I flipped them over, and as you can see, the steam is coming out. It's very, very hot, so I'm just going to very carefully scrape all the seeds and the strings out of here. Now you can do this before you bake it, but it's a little bit easier, I think, if you wait until it's hot. I'm just going to let this sit here for a few minutes before I actually turn it into a puree, and the longer it sits here and the steam evaporates, the thicker your puree will be. If I was to puree it right now, it'd be pretty watery. So I don't want it to be too super thick, so I'm going to wait just a little bit and let it cool. I've let my pumpkin cool for just a few minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and scrape it out and put it into my food processor. Now you can use a blender or food processor or whatever you'd like, but this is what I'm going to be using. And this is the reason why I like to line my pan with foil. All I have to do is just roll that up and throw it away, and my pan is clean. No scrubbing, no baked on crusted stuff. It's very simple. Next you're going to want to turn this on and let it puree until it's very fine. Once it's done and it's a very fine consistency, you'll want to take it out and pour it into a bowl and just let it cool a little bit, or at least that's what I like to do before I divide it out and put it into bags. And here you have homemade pumpkin puree. I'm going to let this cool a little bit before I put it into Ziploc bags and stick it in the freezer. One thing I like to do is I like to portion it out into exact measurements for each recipe that I'm going to be making and label it in the Ziploc bag. That way I can just pull each bag out and let it thaw and use it in my recipes. One thing to keep in mind with homemade pumpkin puree, especially once you stick it in the freezer and take it back out to thaw it, it's a lot thinner in consistency than your canned pumpkin. It's not going to work in recipes that need to be set up like pumpkin pie. Believe me, I've tried it before and it cooked for 3 hours in the oven and still never set up. So that I would stick to canned pumpkin or figure out some way to strain the excess liquid off so this is a little bit thicker. This is wonderful in all sorts of other recipes that I've been making, and so I'm excited to share a lot of those with you. Next I'm going to show you how to make your own pumpkin pie seasoning. To make your own homemade pumpkin pie seasoning, you're going to need some ground cinnamon, some ginger, nutmeg, cloves, and allspice. You'll also need a container to put your mixture in. I just washed this. It's an old, actually this is what my cloves used to be in, and I checked the expiration date and it expired in 2009, so I figured I better buy a new jar of cloves. And I'm going to use a funnel so it'll make it easier to put it in, and you'll need some measuring spoons. So first of all, you're going to start out with 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, and you can make how big ever a batch you want to make. 1 teaspoon of ginger, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg and allspice. So this is my half and then a quarter, so that's 3/4 of a teaspoon of each of these. And then half a teaspoon of cloves. All right, once that's all mixed in there, you're just gonna put your lid on and just give it a good shake. And there you have pumpkin pie seasoning. Subscribe to my channel so that way you don't miss any of my pumpkin recipes coming up. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make your own pumpkin pie spice and pumpkin puree.